I'm not going to hold y'all. A pill I think that we should all swallow, myself included, is that being honest doesn't automatically mean being understood. It's kind of fascinating to think about it, but there needs to be some type of regulation in the way it is communicated because it could be very harmful to yourself and others. I like to think of myself as infamous for falling out with people or trying to present information to people and the conversation going completely left. And it wasn't what I said, but it was how I said it. And even if I thought I was saying it in a very logical or calm manner, that's not the case. Years ago, I had a past life regression reading with Dr. Indy Einstein, and she highlighted me having throat chakra issues and also in my past life probably being blind or deaf. So I know not everybody believes in this stuff, but like, hey, it made so much sense to me. And another thing is like people do not understand passion. Passion looks different for everybody. People have different topics they're even passionate about. And passion can be seen as being emotional. And when you are emotional, things can seem very emotionally charged. Logic is like out the fucking window. The tone carries more than the actual words. It's almost like when you're talking to a boss and you're telling them how you feel and they're like, I don't like that. And you're just like, yo, like, no, I'm talking about the structures of this job and there's things that could be done better, especially when you think about it for like attendance. And on my mind, I'm just thinking about how emotion and energy is very similar, different ways, but very, very, very similar. And people, they react to energy, not necessarily the words. Like you could be saying the most like fact-given truth, but the way that your energy is showing is what people react to the most. It's like the intention of what you're trying to say goes completely out the window. One thing that I've been like really working through is that maybe I'm too honest, but my honesty isn't someone else's perspective to like really tap into and really fully understand. In the back of my head, I always just think like, oh, I told them the truth. Like I always kept it real. Like, what's the problem? Like, I get it. And I try to like adjust my approach depending on the person I'm dealing with, but that's not the full picture when you really, really, really sincerely think about like, okay, like I told the truth, like that should be the thing that matters. But sometimes people don't see truth, and truth is something that, again, ironically looks different to everybody. And for someone like me, like having a throat chakra issue, like going more in depth on the throat chakra issues that I have a list: pronunciation, communication, emotional communication, and then also especially having ADHD, which I mentioned as in like almost every audio diary. But like dead ass to say that like sometimes my processing be off and I really do need that time. And then when I do share, it still doesn't come out like quote unquote properly. And there's something about like having that imbalance or conflict when it comes to your throat chakra, because there have been times where I wasn't grounded in what I said. Like I said what I said, but grounded energetically and solely, like there was no base. So when I communicate, it's like, even if I'm telling the truth, it comes without the grounding. And then also just like health related, there are like certain things you can kind of like look it up, but they say like if you're craving certain things, then you're trying to feed different parts of your body because it's lacking in that area. For example, like if I'm craving like something that's like chocolate, like I'm looking for that self-soothe, that comfort, that seeking of like something in life. And then psychologically, like if I'm craving sweets, that means that I could be dealing with some stress that I'm not like fully acknowledging, which is why some of us go into like comfort foods and binge eating. And I don't know, just like mad fried when you really think about it. And I hate to be that person, but there's a good saying that says that words are spells. That's why spell is called spelling. And timing and the way that you contain yourself and express yourself matters. So that's why it's like, say what you mean and practice on the delivery. To have truth is to be one with logic, but to have regulation is to like, or I would say that experience regulation is emotion. And with both being cohesive, like it can make for better effective communication. And then without that proper regulation, like honestly, it just like comes like a release. Like there's no connection at all. And then people start thinking you're trauma dumping and like it gets fucking bad. So recently, what have I been doing? What have I been doing to like work on this? Because I know my personal truth. I know the truth I share with others. I know the facts. I'm sharing the facts. But what I've been doing is like, one, going back to preservation, taking my time, taking a step back, analyzing situations, understanding where I went wrong, why I went wrong. I know not everything is avoidable, but I've really been practicing like pausing before speaking. And then I have to ask myself some very hard questions with shadow work. Like, am I trying to be understood? Am I trying to make people believe me? Am I trying to unload? What is it I need in that moment? And how can I also communicate it with my loved ones so they don't feel overwhelmed and I don't feel like I'm going without? And then like, just on a kind of like semi deeper level, like, your mouth is like a part of your body. Like you really have to regulate your body first in order to exercise any muscle. And I like to think of like your mouth as a muscle. Like I might have to like fact check that type shit, but I like to think that. So regulate your body first, speak second. And there's a lot of things that we might not fully see as sacred, but I think the voice is very sacred. Like it's one of the most important things that we have in this lifetime. And with honesty being like sacred, like timing and delivery also are. Like I know there's like the saying like there's a right time for everything or everything happens for a reason. And I'm going to do like a little deep dive video, audio diary about like my thoughts on like time and whatnot. But it really do come to like the timing and delivery. And I know people have their own different type of conflict resolution styles. Like some people like to address shit head on. Some people like to take their time with things. Some people need days. Like it looks different for so many people. And I'm happy. One thing I learned when I was like working in nonprofit work is like conflict resolution styles. I wish I could like name them directly. I will do some research and get back on it so I can like get better explaining, because that's one of the purposes of this audio diary is like perfecting my voice, perfecting myself so I can be the best self I can be, so I can be an effective member to society and also take care and love on the people I care about without hurting them, because it's not my goal to ever hurt anybody. And I know like this audio diary series, like my loved ones, like the ones that get it, but the ones that are like pretty new here, they're probably like, oh yo, like she just going online making this fucking audio diary just like talking about shit. And it's like, yes, but also like, I mean, I can't, like, I know it's not supposed to be seen as like unloading, but I can't just unload onto you. I can't just like, you know, rely on you for like my emotional security. So yes, there's therapy. Been there, done that. Will go back, waiting on my insurance to kick in. Have tried medications, but it gave me like a numbing effect. Did they help? Maybe, but I like to try to deal with things head on. And if this is my way of trying to like cope and get better, then so be it. And also, again, going back to like previous episodes, this is my voice, this is my life. And people will definitely try to tell others like who you were as a person. And then when you're gone, it's like only so much, you know. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this audio diary series of my rant about how honesty does not mean that you're communicating effectively and how it can cause harm to yourself and others. Take care of yourself and take your time with everything type shit.